All right, so let's do a little brief interlude here and get our leather strap up to kind of the detail that we've established here on the blade. And the way we're going to do that is I did it off camera, but I simply went into our value booster here. I Control C and Control V'd it right above the value booster group here in the leather folder. So I'm going to call this value booster, and just real quick, I'm going to close my folders. I want to impress upon you, please make sure that you are setting your blend modes to be correct. I have all these folders set to pass through right now. Please be sure that you're doing that, or else you're going to find yourself lost at a couple of the upcoming steps. Okay, so the next thing that I'm thinking of with our leather straps here is we need to tweak some of these value booster stuff. So just because we copied and pasted doesn't mean we don't need to go in here and adjust some of these generators. So I'm going to lower down the edge wear to make it a little bit more subtle. I'm going to tell it that it's a smoother edge because it is. It's leather. I'm going to lower the grunge amount like so. And then on the dirt, I'm just going to really what we're dealing with here. It's fine. I suppose it's not really doing a whole heck of a lot, which is a-okay in my book. If I look at it here in the flat shaded mode by pressing C, see that we're getting a nice darker value. I think I'm going to just kind of bump up our base value here a tad, just to give us a little bit more room on the value scale to play with. And then for our edge wear here, I'm going to up that a little bit higher in the value scale. So I'm closing those. And now I'm going to think about, okay, I want to see about moving these over to being brown. Now I'm ready to add some color. The way I do that is I'm going to add a new layer at the top here. I'm going to press Control E to put it in a folder, or I'm going to call this a color gradient. I'm going to call that folder color gradient. I'm going to set this color gradient folder to pass through, very important. And I'm going to set this layer 2, which is going to be our actual gradient. So I'll call this color gradient filter. And I'm going to set this as a pass-through blend mode as well. I'm going to right click on this color gradient filter layer that I just made, and I'm going to press add filter. Up here, and I'm going to left click on this filter button. And what I'm going to ask you to do is scroll down a little bit. If I can grab the handle. Scroll down, and the one you're looking for is this gradient. So it's on the first row down that you see when you scroll down. It just says gradient. And what this does, if you remember from the last term, is it reads values into grayscale and turns them into color values. So I'm just going to set my mid value to be kind of this earthy brown. I'm going to set my high value here using the eyedropper to be a lighter brown. And you see that it's not really making too much of an effect because that white value is not showing up in the grayscale one. And then for my dark value, I'm going to do a very dark value, brown value like so. And what you do at this point is you kind of tweak some of these bars because I'm not getting a lot of that white value. So I'm just going to move my middle, but kind of clamp my middle value closer to this so we get some more of those white. For the dark, I'm going to kind of move the dark up a little bit so that We're still getting some of those nice darks. This would be something that I really need to kind of pull out our reference and look at, but looking at as so we're getting pretty close. We need kind of a more yellow, lighter tone. I want to zoom in and really kind of match that color. We'll make that a little bit more yellow. And with that, we could probably use this reference to maybe increase our wear level here, lower our grunge amount, increase the contrast. I think I might have just made it a little worse. So I'm going to go back, but always be checking your reference here. I'm going to go to my color gradient, edit this a little bit more. Maybe we need to do something like this and maybe drop the value so it's, yeah. Also noticing like a little splotch of kind of like green in the texture. We could maybe play around with adding that. Show you how you would do that. You would go over here to quantity and then kind of put it sort of in the middle between one of the color values. But this gets a little goofy fast, and I'm selecting the wrong color. So I would need to, let's see, grab this. It's not the way that I would do it. So just kind of ignore me on that. There's a million different ways to skin a cat, and for a little bit of like chromatic aberration like this, or just some hue shifts, I would probably save it to the very end and then just go in with a brush like so, and you could add some texture. Get your Wacom tablet out and play around with. And then run a little blur filter on it. Change it to like a saturation, or change your blend mode to a color. And then now you're kind of implementing some of that hue shift in there. Very, very quick. And that's how you add some neat little color information like that. And I'm just showing you guys the generators for this, but really at the end of the day, getting good textures out of Substance Painter is about also not sleeping on the hand painting part. Like at any point I could come in here, add a paint layer, change my color to a bright edge, and lower my value, and just start really getting precise with it. And just because I'm painting it at like a super sharp kind of fidelity like this, it doesn't mean that I can't throw a blur filter on it, or go anywhere else from this. And there's also all kinds of texture brushes you can use inside here to take your stuff to the next level. And it's always fun to get your pen on your paper here, get your Wacom out, and really play around with taking to that next level. Because like I just showed, just add a filter here for a blur if you're not happy with, maybe your shape looks too pen like. Lower your visibility, and it all just kind of fades away in the background. But giving everything that extra little hand pass of love will make your asset stand out a lot. Okay, let's press M here. And let's kind of assess things for a little bit. Now that we have our reference out, I'm noticing that, maybe there are some color choices that need to be made on the blade and on this pommel here before we go any further. So let's kind of assess our values here and reconvene in the next video.